Hi, I'm Dave Corbett in for Phil Gallagher tonight. Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. Thousands of Burlington residents woke up to power outages on Thursday, and crews worked to make repairs throughout the day. Meanwhile, many residents sought electricity in public spaces. BNews director Rich Hosford went to check out the situation and has this report.
On Thursday morning, many Burlington residents and many residents throughout the area woke up to find they were without power. A large snowstorm dumped a lot of wet, heavy snow on the region that was weighing down tree branches and, in some cases, downing whole trees and telephone poles.
Yeah, the last 24 hours, I mean, it's obviously probably a little bit more of an extreme storm than they anticipated. I mean, we were projected to get 3 to 6 inches in this area, and we get more like 10 to 12 inches of heavy, wet snow, which obviously had an effect on public utilities.
Chief Yetman said that during a storm, in terms of outages, his department works mainly as a conduit of information from residents to Eversource, which then uses the details of power outages to address the issues.
Power outages, if we get a call for arcing wires, wires down, trees on wires, we'll go out and investigate, and then we will notify Eversource and give them an idea of what we have. We also have like apps on our phones that we can actually direct report to them.
Yetman said that thanks to the quick reporting by residents about downed wires and trees, his department was able to efficiently get the necessary information to the utility company.
I mean, we've actually had great success this afternoon. I think our height, we were about 4,800 customers without power, about 40% of Burlington. And in the last 2 to 3 hours, we're down around 25%, and we're down around 2,800, and it's dropping.
Still, even with crews working to fix the problem, many people were without power. This prompted a response from the Burlington Senior Center that set up a warming shelter where people could go to a heated place and where they had access to outlets to power their cell phones and laptops.
A lot of folks were calling the fire department, calling the police department, asking if there was anywhere they could go. Were we opening up a shelter? And with 40% of the town out at the time, the decision was made that we needed to open up a place for people to go.
McDonald's said that though they did not have a large number of people, it is important to offer the service, as having a warm place with lights on can be important when people are in need.
We've had a few people come in, yeah. Funny, the millennials, we had a bunch of millennials come in. Some girls in their 20s came in and charged up their laptops and tablets and cell phones, and off they went. So they were happy. And in past when we had to do this a long time ago, and I had somebody come in who needed to clean her bottles for her baby. Needed the hot water. So it's definitely worth being open for people and letting them know that we're okay with heat and hot water if need be.
One place where there were a lot of people congregating for heat and electricity was the Burlington Public Library, which was fortunately able to open as normal only to find themselves a hotbed of activity.
So we opened up at our normal time at 10 o'clock. And of course, from the very first minute, we had multiple phone calls asking if we were open, if we had power, if we had internet. So we were able to tell people that we were open. We had an enormous influx just in the very first hour. The second floor was filled. The first floor was filled with parents and children just looking to get out of the house and get someplace where they could be warm and they could charge their phones and use the internet.
Wick said that shelter from a storm is just one more service he's happy the library can provide.
Well, I think this just really proves the importance of the library to people as a place that they're comfortable coming to during time of need, time of crisis, where they need something that they can use that's beyond the normal range of just getting books, but use it in any way that we can make it usable for them.
Both directors said that in this day and age, when people rely on their handheld electronics for much of their information and communication, providing residents an opportunity to juice up their devices is an essential service.
It's obviously senior center director thinks it's really important for people to stay engaged and connected to people. And it can be kind of difficult if you're home in the dark and you don't know what's going on out there, and people are worried about you as well. So it's important to be able to connect with folks and let your family know you're okay, let your friends know you're okay, or be able to let them know you're not okay. And you can't do that. These days everybody's phones are connected to their internet. So, the internet systems. So if that goes down, you're completely out of touch. So those cell phones and the email systems becomes really important for making sure people can get in touch with other folks.
Because I think that for a lot of people, once you lose that ability, it's almost kind of like the bottom drops out of your life. And like you said, you're not really able to call people and let your loved ones know that you're okay, or even check the status of kind of the power outage in your neighborhood. So that's very important.
Finally, Chief Yetman said that during events like this, it is important to, before all else, be safe.
Well, yeah, if you can stay indoors, I mean, obviously everybody has to do some cleanup. I mean, just take your time. It's not a race. Just take your time, removing snow and stuff like that. If you can get, if you're an older person or a person with disabilities, then obviously try and get some of your neighbors to give you a hand. Again, if there's an issue with down trees, down power lines and stuff like that, certainly give us a call. Stay away. You see lines down really literally all over town right now. We ask anybody to just stay away from the lines. Treat every line like it's alive.
Out and about in Burlington, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
There will soon be new leadership at Burlington's middle school. Burlington Public Schools said in a release that they are pleased to announce that Carrie Purchase has been selected as the new principal of Marshall Simmons Middle School, effective July 1st, 2018. Purchase is completing her 5th year as the principal of Medway Middle School. Before that, she served as the assistant principal at the same school. She started her career in education as a 6th grade teacher at Duxbury Middle School, where she taught reading, English, and social studies. Purchase is currently completing her doctorate of education in curriculum, teaching, learning, and leadership from Northeastern University. She earned her master's degree in education from the University of Massachusetts, Boston, as well as a certificate of advanced graduate study in educational leadership from Bridgewater State College. Purchase outlined her priorities of leadership in a school environment. She said creating and maintaining a safe, supportive school environment where all students are able to learn and grow socially, emotionally, and academically is key. She added that students need to feel valued and respected as individuals, and when they do, they feel safe and are better able to learn. It is also important to build relationship with students, families, faculty, and staff, and that educating a child requires all members of the school community to work together. Burlington School Department leaders said they are happy to welcome Purchase to the district. Superintendent Eric Conti said Burlington has been fortunate enough to have steady leadership at the middle school level, and he looks forward to continuing this legacy with Principal Purchase. He also thanked the teachers, administrators, parents, and community members who gave their time to serve on the screening committee. Burlington students took pencil to paper to send words of encouragement, support, and caring to Florida students who last month were victims of a massive school shooting. Assistant Superintendent Patrick Larkin made a blog post explaining that middle school students had written the notes to students at Stoneman Douglas High School. On February 14th, a former student killed 17 students and faculty members and injured 16 others. In an effort to continue their efforts, to 7th graders at Marshall Simmons Middle School wrote letters to students returning to school at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, Larkin wrote. Their sweet message, filled with hope and comfort, were thoughtful and inspiring. One student wrote, "What I am trying to say is that I leave you with all my prayers and hope you overcome this traumatic experience. One day when you are old, you will think back to this event which made you who you are now. You are brave and will overcome this." A longtime Burlington resident and owner of a popular deli has passed away. Samuel Joseph, Sammy Restivo, founder and former owner of Sammy's Delis and Catering, passed away after a lengthy illness on March 4th at the age of 93. Sam grew up in Woburn, where he went to school. At an early age, he showed a talent for music. He studied the accordion and later would take weekly train trips to Boston to study at the Boston Conservatory of Music. He played at high school assemblies every Friday, entertained the troops during World War II, and played professionally at many weddings and social events. Sam met his future wife Annie as a child, as her family lived right across the street from his family. They married in 1946 and raised 2 sons, Carl and Danny. The family moved to Burlington in 1976, where they already had a family business. Sam owned grocery market and beer and wine store in Newton for 20 years, and in 1966, he opened Sammy's Deli in Burlington. The business required long hours and a lot of hard work, but he was proud that the deli was the oldest family-run food establishment in town. Sam will be remembered as a loving husband, father, grandfather, uncle, and friend. Even after he retired from the deli, he could be found most mornings spending time there and sharing coffee and conversation with friends. The Burlington Education Foundation held its 10th annual Trivia Night, and everyone came together to make it work despite the lack of electricity to help benefit Burlington students. BNews reporter John Baez and regular BNews anchor Phil Gallagher were there and have this look.
This past Friday night, the Burlington Education Foundation hosted their 10th annual Trivia Night at the Hilton Garden Inn. Teams participated in multiple rounds of questions that tested their knowledge on a wide range of subjects, including history, movies, literature, and geography, among others. BEF's mission is to promote community involvement in public education by carrying donations from businesses and individuals to provide the town's educators a second source of funding, along with different beneficial items for creative and innovative curriculum enrichment programs. I, along with BNews anchor Phil Gallagher, spoke with BEF's president Paula Bormister and their treasurer Donald Bormister about the organization and Friday night's fundraiser, which this year came with a twist. A power outage that had participants playing in the dark.
Okay. We're here with Paula Bormister, who is the president of the Burlington Education Foundation, and we are at Trivia Night, an interesting Trivia Night.
Yes, very interesting. This is our 10th annual, and I think we couldn't have done it without a big bang. So here we are in the dark at Trivia Night, and this is probably the rowdiest, most flexible, most fun crowd that we've had to date.
So we have 3 seasonal fundraising events in the fall, the winter, and the spring. This is our winter event. It is one of our largest and most successful fundraisers. We've recently brought the event into Burlington here at the Hilton Garden Inn, which is a fabulous venue. We're very excited to have really upscaled the events. We try to professionalize most of the events that we hold annually. Unfortunately, because of the storm, there's no electricity tonight, so I think we're very successfully dealing with that obstacle.
Looks like a pretty well attended. How many tables have you got tonight?
There are 25 tables of 10 people each, so we have over 250 people here, plus volunteers. And
So this is the biggest event you've run so far in the 10 years?
it's definitely one of the biggest.
Okay. And this is membership time for the BEF?
Yes, it is. This is our busy time, soliciting with sponsors, membership from the community, and to having our annual events. So Trivia Night kicks us off, and then we roll right into the road race in May, first week in May, Sunday, May 6th. So we hope we have as many participants or more. We usually double in size for that.
And what were some of BEF's most successful grands?
What we're really proud of is the Scooter grant. Scooter is a service dog that is at the high school, primarily located at the high school, but he does travel to the middle school and the elementary schools. And the feedback that we've gotten from having a service dog within the Burlington School District has been just very phenomenal.
What have you got for grants this year that are of particular note?
So we just actually had a Mexican artist come in to Marshall Simons for the 7th and 8th grade Spanish classrooms. They did a wood carving, and they combine it with lessons on being accepting and diverse. We've supported a great new environment in some classrooms with special space for children for their learning in elementary school. We're working on an art project with George Radovich at the high school, which will be a community banner. It coincides with an art contest with the children in all of the grades across all the schools. And then those that are chosen will become community banners in the town.
Wonderful. And on average, how much have you been giving back to the school system through the foundation?
We average about $30,000 or $35,000 per year, school year, and to date we have contributed over $300,000 in grant money.
Great. And how can you become a member of the BEF?
All you have to do is let us know that you want to be involved, and we accept donations. We have a membership drive for $25 a year, and we let you know everything that's going on with the BEF and all of the great grants that we're supporting.
So anybody who wants to join, become a member or participate in some of the darker trivia events that are going on, you can go on to BurlingtonEducationFoundation.org
Yes.
and sign up. The $25 is well spent. Thanks to Paula Bormeister, and hopefully the lights will come on.
Thank you. Thanks so much for the opportunity to speak.
From the Hilton Garden Inn, along with BNews anchor Phil Gallagher, I'm John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
That looked like a great time. Are you being asked to give money to the IRS for missing a session of jury duty? This is probably another scam. Middlesex Sheriff Peter Katusian issued a reminder to residents to be aware of ongoing IRS and jury duty scams after an uptick in calls being reported to his office. He said he wants residents to be aware of these scams in order to better protect themselves. During these calls, the scammer tells the victims they are either behind on tax payments or missed jury duty, and that they are facing arrest. The scammer then says they can avoid arrest if they immediately pay a fine or fee. The calls are either via automated message or a live human being. At no time will a legitimate IRS agent or law enforcement official ever demand immediate payment or threaten arrest ever over the phone, Katusian said. Anyone who may have received similar calls is encouraged to report them to their local police department and the MSO Digital Forensics Units at 978-932-3292. Local Girl Scouts recently joined Scouts around the world by participating in an event meant to celebrate their sisterhood they belong to and to think about ways to positively impact their communities. On Sunday, February 25th, Burlington Girl Scouts gathered at Memorial School for the International World Thinking Day. World Thinking Day is in honor and recognition of the birthdays of the Boy Scout and Girl Scout founders, Lord Robert Baden-Powell and his wife, Ola Baden-Powell. World Thinking Day is a special day to remind all Girl Scouts and Girl Guides that they belong to an international sisterhood striving to make the world a better place. A release about the event states, this year's theme was Impact, where girls focused on how they can make an impact on their community. This year, the Scouts were greeted by State Senator Cindy Friedman, who explained to them how she is making an impact in our community through her work in the state government. They also met with members of the Burlington High School chapter of Girl Up, a global organization that envisions a world where every girl can live up to their utmost potential. The girls also made no-sew blankets that were donated to the Lowell Transitional Living Center and collected donations for the Juliet Lowe Friendship Fund. The Burlington Historical Society was pleased and honored to have longtime WBZ radio personality Mel Simmons stop by and perform his show Irish Night. BNews reporter Robert Paris went to check it out and has this report.
A popular New England radio personality has stopped by Burlington. This week, the Burlington Historical Society had a special guest. He's humorous and has made many appearances on various radio frequencies everywhere. Mel Simons.
Well, I started off as an entertainer doing comedy. I'm an accordionist that does a lot of audience participation, and I'm a comedian who's very, very clean. And then I got into nostalgia shows. I have a whole bunch of different nostalgia shows. My first show is called The Golden Days of Radio, which is a trip down memory lane, great show for seniors. And I have a whole bunch of video shows I do, The Golden Days of Television, Strictly Sinatra, the big bands, the big band singers. A couple of my favorite shows, one I'm doing this evening for the Historical Society, is called You Don't Have to Be Irish. It's a wonderful show that consists of Irish humor, Irish songs, and Irish trivia for which I give out WBZ pins. I'm on WBZ radio playing trivia, and when I play trivia with audiences, that's the prize I give. And another one of my favorite nostalgia shows, I took 4 legends from the last century and I developed this wonderful one-man show. It's called The Life and Songs of Al Jolson, Jimmy Durante, Eddie Cantor, and George M. Cohan.
The society is always having fun in the present. And before they can do that, they need to talk about something from the past.
I have been president of society, I think, about 8 years. And I've made some wonderful friends. And it's a social event, but we always interject some history. You know, we call it patriotic moments. So the routine thing is we start our program, and then we salute the flag, and then someone will give a talk. I'm going to do one tonight on patriotic moments.
The Historical Society was very enthusiastic to bring in Mel Simons for young and old.
The speaker that we have is Mel Simons is here, and I just met a real elderly lady that just came in, and she listens to him every day, she says, on WBZ. So I'll have to try that. I never have. But he likes to entertain, and he's going to make us laugh.
There are a lot of things Mel enjoys about being an entertainer, and one of his favorite places to be is on the air at WBZ.
One of my favorite things is WBZ radio. I have been on WBZ radio for 39 years, believe it or not. I started with Larry Glick, and what I do on radio is I play trivia, but it's not question and answer trivia. What I do is I play voices, and the home audience has got to call and identify the voice. For example, I may start with Perry Como or Frank Sinatra. I may play an old commercial and buzz out the product. I'll play an old TV theme, and I started with Larry Glick. And then when Larry retired, a Burlington gentleman who still lives in Burlington, Bob Raleigh, continued to use me. And when Bob retired, Steve Lavelli continued to use me. And the past 4 or 5 years, I've been on Saturday nights with Morgan White Jr. BZ has an amazing signal, Robert. We hit 38 states and a good portion of Canada, and a listening audience of 1 million people.
The Historical Society is always looking for new members to join.
Well, mostly I hope they realize what happy people we are here at the Burlington Society. And we have a great town, and to get younger people to join too would be great.
Finally, you don't have to be Irish to enjoy one of Mel's shows.
It's strictly Irish, but like I say, you don't have to be Irish to enjoy the show. I begin by playing some Irish songs on my accordion, then I tell some Irish jokes. I'm one of these rare, clean comedians, and all the trivia I play is Irish related. So it's kind of a combination of music, comedy, and trivia, all Irish.
From the Murray Kelly Wing, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Anyone interested in learning more about how Burlington's first responders are preparing for incidents such as mass shootings will have an opportunity later this month. The Burlington Volunteer Reserve Corps is inviting the public to attend their next meeting on Tuesday, March 20th at 6 p.m. in the Murray Kelly Wing of the Human Services Building. During that meeting, members of the Burlington Police Department and the Burlington Fire Department will be providing a presentation on how their departments are conducting preparedness training for active threat situations. The Burlington Police and Fire Departments are the first in the area to adopt the Rescue Task Force program. The force is the state-of-the-art in active shooter response and involves close coordination between police, fire, and EMS personnel to greatly decrease the number of casualties at a hazardous event. The BVRC is a volunteer organization whose members are ready to provide assistance to the Burlington community in the event of an emergency, such as widespread power outages, pandemic disease outbreaks, or severe weather emergencies. Though winter was certainly in play this week, we have one clear sign that spring is coming. This Sunday, March 11th, we need to spring forward by turning the clocks ahead by 1 hour for the start of daylight saving times. Technically, the clock should roll ahead at 2 a.m. Sunday morning, But unless you're a real stickler for rules, you can set them before going to bed the night before. Of course, computer devices such as laptops, smartphones, and tablets will automatically change over. And yes, this means we will all lose an hour of sleep, but on the bright side, it will be lighter later in the day. We think that is a good compromise. March has certainly come in like a lion. We've had some severe weather this week, and we may be getting some more early next week. For more, we go to BNews weatherman Peter Brown for the latest forecast. We will also check out the community calendar with Maddie Shipka to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. It's great to be back with you all here in Burlington after I've been silly enough to sound under the weather for a couple of weeks, and probably one thing that's making you feel very under the weather has been what our weather has been like the past few days, that's for sure. It's amazing to think that over the past couple of weeks we have seen temperatures go from the 80s down to what it's been like. We've had 2 very powerful nor'easters with tons of damage done all over the area. We have definitely had a crazy end of meteorological winter and a really crazy start to meteorological spring. And as we start a period out here going on Friday, we're going to see temperatures, look at this, below normal, temperatures only in the upper 30s, and lows a little bit warmer than they would normally be this time of the year, but still, this is going to be because of some cloud cover, which is going to bring us, unfortunately, some more light snow on Friday. I know that's probably something you don't want to hear again, but looks like that's going to be happening. As we get towards the end of our period, I can't believe it that we're going to be into the middle of March, so we are really starting to push, hopefully, towards warmer weather again. And of course, the one thing you notice is the days are getting so much longer, and actually going into this Saturday, before you go to bed, you're going to be wanting to turn your clocks ahead an hour as daylight savings time begins. Now, as we go ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather for the next 7 days. And unfortunately, I know what you're probably thinking by looking at this graphic. It looks like we're going to have another messy storm again. And looking right now at the models, there's about a 50-50 chance that we could be seeing a fairly strong storm around here by Monday and Tuesday of the upcoming week. Now, what is this going to mean for us here in the Burlington area? Well, unfortunately, looks like right now the storm could be right in the perfect position again to give us here in the Burlington area a lot of very heavy wet snow like we just saw. And of course, we've had so many trees down, so many power lines taken out. I know so many of you probably have lots of damage done to your houses, to your yards, maybe even to your cars in the driveway, and there is a chance we could see that type of a system coming by as we get into the beginning of the week. Again, temperatures are going to be kind of moderate again, temperatures only in the low 30s to maybe the mid 30s, but of course that brings that real cement-like snow. And once this storm does pass us by, getting in towards the early parts of Wednesday, you notice this big high pressure center up here over maritime Canada. That is what's keeping these storms coming towards us and actually is going to slow this storm down as it passes by us. So we may see a pretty cloudy period as we get into next week with some on and off snow and rain showers. So spring weather definitely seems like it's a far way away, that's for sure. As we go ahead, I'm going to show you the 7-day temperatures and the weather. And again, look at this, folks. We're going to have to start out Friday again with a little bit of mixed rain and snow. We could see maybe an inch or 2 out of that. So adding on top of that really heavy snow that we just saw the past few days, a little bit more is coming. But looks like Saturday and Sunday, though, for our weekend, we are going to get a chance to get out there, maybe do some cleaning up, maybe fix some of the stuff in your yard. We're going to see temperatures actually fairly pleasant for this time of the year. In the low to mid 40s. We may actually on Sunday have to up that temperature. We may actually see temperatures getting up into the upper 40s. And again, once again, we want to mention Saturday night before you go to sleep, remind yourself to turn your clocks ahead 1 hour as daylight savings time will be beginning on 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. That's, of course, going to bring our sunsets to almost 7 o'clock at night. So we're going to have tons of light to be able to out and do evening activities. But again, once we get by that, Monday and Tuesday, we're going to have to keep a close eye on this storm that's going to be passing by to our south and east. This, again, could bring us some fairly heavy amounts of very, very heavy wet snow. When we get to Wednesday, though, looks like we're going to be clearing out a little bit. Temperatures, again, around 40, so still pleasant. And look at this on Thursday. We do have, again, the chance of another disturbance coming through as this big storm that passes us by on Monday and Tuesday starts to maybe wrap back down towards us from Maine. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Looks like we're going to have fairly unsettled patterns we go ahead for the next 7 days. But folks, get out there, stay safe, and enjoy the weather.
Hello, I'm Maddie Shipka, and this is your community calendar. Hooray, the carnival is in town. On Saturday, March 17th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Pine Glen PTO will be putting on a carnival at Pine Glen. Come and enjoy a day of full family fun. There will also be carnival games, food, raffles, face painting, and much more. Everyone is welcome. For more information, and if you would like to help volunteer, look for the Pine Glen PTO on Facebook. Learn how to protect yourself and others with self-defense. On Sunday, March 18th, from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Extreme Martial Arts Center in Burlington will be having a self-defense class at Athleta in the Burlington Mall. In the program, students will learn how to end physical and verbal bullying, protect themselves and family, gain more confidence, achieve more, and have fun. Classes are for girls ages 8 through 12. For more information and to register, please visit athleta.com. Whip out those gloves and get ready to fight. On Friday, April 6th at 6 p.m., the Burlington Rotary Club will be having their annual event called Friday Night at the Fights at the Billerica Elks Lodge, Webbrook Road, Billerica. There will be 10 amateur boxing matches and a catered dinner. The event costs $80 per person. All dinner reservations must be made no later than Friday, March 21st. For tickets and table reservations, call John Tucinardi at 781-820-9635 or email him at jtucinardi@fedheat.com. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this has been your community calendar.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo is of something that has been all too common in Burlington this week. It was sent in by John Sherman and shows a large tree that came crashing down during the storm last week. John simply said, "Close call," when describing the situation, and from the looks of it, he's quite right. Thankfully, too, as a tree that size would have done some serious damage to the house. Thanks for the photo, John. We like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your own door, or even photos of your family members and pets. Whatever you think is interesting and would like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line, Photo of the Week. Well, we all like to thank you for tuning in to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Dave Corbett. Phil Gallagher will be back in his seat next week. Thanks.